Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the class. Um, my name is Ezra. So RM King Trader is what they call me in the industry. But then today I want to just talk about micro and macro structure. Yeah. For some of you, you don't know about the YouTube channel. Please, we have a YouTube channel. Try as much as possible to watch the videos there. I dropped the link previously. Yeah, I will still, you know, highlight the link later on after the class. Secondly, I want all of us to pay attention to the class so that we won't have to ask plenty questions, as the class unfold. All right. So tonight I'm going to be talking about micro and macro structure as seen on the screen. All right. First of all, you need to be able to understand what micro structure is, what macro structure is. What do we classify? It's just grammar. Sometimes some persons might be using it. It might mean something different in their own terminologies. But according to me, the way I see the market, I see them in micro and macro. Macro structure is basically the higher time frame structure moves, while okay, all right, while microstructure is lower time frame structure move. So whenever you want to balance the market, you need to consider the structural move of the market per time frames that you use. Now, on the YouTube channel, I already spoke about different kind of traders and the kind of time frames they use. All right, I'm going to be drawing some schematics on the board. I would have drawn that before the class, but I want us to see it and then know how it, come about. All right. So let's draw the chart. For instance, we want to, okay, let's say I'm a swing trader. Yeah, I'm a swing trader. I have my personal time frame. This is my structural time frame, which is my higher time frame. I have my macro structure time frame that I use, which is my higher time frame structure. So now what I do is I check the structure on higher time frame macro first, then before I look down and look at the micro. Now, what do we do? This is what I'm seeing on my macro structure. I'm seeing a buy trend. Okay, so sometimes it might not be this picture clear or picture perfect, but let's say this is what we see. All right, this is what price has been doing, okay, for a long time on higher time frame. Okay, now this is what I see. This is a buy structure, perfectly buy structure, but this is my macro structure. Let's say this is my daily time frame structure. Okay, so D1, so that's my daily time frame structure, okay. So I have my daily time frame structure here. Now this is the major structure I'm looking at as the kind of trader that I am, but sorry, all right, this has, okay. All right. So now, what I do most of the time is that after confirming my macro structure, I go to my corresponding time frame, lower time frame. Like I've said before, the corresponding time frame on daily, if I want to actually trade daily time frame, is to look to the hourly time frame. Now, what I will see on hourly time frame is this. I will see a move like this. Now, follow me closely, please. This is what I'll be seeing on hourly time frame. So these are the moves that I'll be seeing on hourly time frame. Now, most of these moves are not bad, but can be taken advantage of. You see, so these are the moves I'm seeing on my micro structure. Now, I don't want to really go very far. Oh, all right. I don't want to go very far. I just want you to understand this. So let me draw it somewhere else so that we don't get really confused. All right. So on my H1, this is what I'll be seeing. Okay, so I'll be seeing something like this. So now, how do I take advantage of all this? So let me draw this perfectly well so that we can be able to take advantage of all this. Now, I believe if you are understanding what I'm drawing, please drop 111 in the chat box, 111 in the chat box, 111 in the chat box, please. If you are understanding my schematic, please 111 in the chat box. All right, okay. Now this is where it becomes a little bit worrisome. Okay, so all right. All right. Okay, forget the schematic. So let me just stop here so that we don't get too much diagram on the board. Okay, so please follow me so that you don't get confused. So this is my H1. Okay, H1 schematics. So this is the H1 schematics. Now let me draw the daily on it. Okay, so I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this, and this. All right, so I've drawn daily on this. Okay, I've drawn daily on this. Okay, now this is what we have on the screen. This is daily schematics. This is sorry, sketch. Don't let me be using schematics because of the terminologies in forex per day. So now this is what I can see on this time frame daily. But then when I go on lower time frame, I can see this. I can see this eye got cleared. Follow me closely, please. I see this eye also got cleared. So on H1, we are seeing higher eyes being created. So H1 is siding up with our daily. Now, what are we expected to do? When you want to follow lower time frame structure like this, I would personally be looking at the higher highs in the micro phase. In the micro phase, that's on H1. Now, as soon as I see this break to the downside around here, now most of the persons, some persons call it church or something, I don't know, but they call it whatsoever name they want to call it. So depending on what you feel like calling it. But as soon as I see this, let me pick an arrow so that you can. As soon as I see this, okay, there are a lot of interpretation about this. But remember, I have my push phase here. My push phase had already occurred. And on microstructure, that's on H1, I'm seeing a push up, a push down, a push up, and a push down. And suddenly, the previous low on H1 got broken. As soon as I saw this low got broken here, I know that is either price is trying to retrace or the trend is trying to change. So I can also take advantage of that. I will show us how to take advantage of that going downward. But then there are other things you need to know, and I'm going to talk about them. But if you understand what I just explained, drop 222 in the chat box, please. You understand what I just explained, drop 222 in the chat box. So now the smaller move are micro structures, while the larger move on daily is our macro structure. Now, since we have this church or whatsoever they call it, now let's talk about how to take advantage of it. I believe I've done justice to micro and macro structure. I will go to the chart. I'm going to show us few things so that we won't get confused. We will understand it better. But for now, let's finish with this. Okay. So now, when I'm taking this trade, I want to join the buy. My major focus are the zones on lower time frame because I've already seen this push leg. I've seen retracement. I've seen push phase. I've seen retracement. I've seen push. So now what I'll be doing is I'll be looking for zones at which I can take advantage of this market. Now, sorry, I have this zone here. I can take advantage of the market around this zone. This is not a candlestick stuff. And then let me use my fib. Any zone on micro, that's around 50% is also valid. Okay, it's also valid, but then you have to confirm it on lower time frame. I think I've done a video on entry also. You can actually check it. It's nothing very difficult. So this is what I do. Now, a lot of persons have been wondering how I took my lower time frame entries and others. So I'm going to go to the rechart now. So virtually the same way you took advantage of this push phase, you can actually take advantage of this retracement phase. The only problem is price might not start reversing here. Price might just come here and then push up, continue going up. Okay, price might just continue going up, but then there is a little what do they call it, a little confirmation that we've gotten that price might want to retrace actually. So this is just the basic sketch on macro and macro structure. So now we are going to go, and all of this is based on structure. You have to have a better understanding of structure. You need to definitely understand structure. You need to understand structure. All right, so let's go to the chart. Let's just go to the chart to see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is H1 sorry, daily chart. Okay, so this is daily chart. Okay, let me start with this. All right, this was a push phase. Now let me just quickly mark out some things. This was a push phase from there to here. Now I'm going to put a rectangle there so that we can know around where we are functioning. Okay, so because this is a sell, this move down is a push phase. This move down here is a push phase, while this move up is a retracement phase. Let me use something more. Okay, so this is a push phase to the downside, while this is a retracement phase. So this is a retracement phase and this is another push phase. All right, I believe we understand this now. So that's good. That's good. I don't want to stress us, so I want to go within the recent move of the market. So let me put a rectangle to demarcate that place. Now remember, the push phase was exhausted and the retracement phase is about getting exhausted. Like I told you in the last class that we have, that as soon as price start getting above 50% of the push phase, we should start suspecting the end of a retracement, the end of a retracement. So now what we are going to do is we are going to go down. Okay, we are going to go down from here. Let me put an arrow there so that we can get. We are going to go down from here. I will look at how we would have taken advantage of the sell down, how price started delivering around here, and how we would have taken advantage of the sell. Now remember, this is on daily. This is my macro structure. This is the higher time frame structure. A push phase, retracement phase. We want to confirm whether this retracement phase is about getting exhausted. So we go to H1. So let's see what H1 is saying. Let's see what H1 is saying. All right, good. Okay, so I'm trying to, all right. Okay, so this is it. For most of you, this might be an eye-opener. For some of you, you might have known it before. For some of you, you are just starting to get exposure to this thing. So let's see what we can have. All right. This was where structure broke to the downside, which is my micro structure. Okay, so structure broke. This is a high. Let me just use this sign to mark it. Okay, so let me use this what do they call it, this part to mark it. So I have this, I have this, I have this. Okay, I have this, I have this, and then I have this. Now, most of the persons will think price wants to reverse, but not me anyway. So I have a push down, I have a push up, I have a push down, I have a push up, I have a push down, I have a push up. Are you understanding what I'm doing? Let me stop there. Are you understanding what I'm doing? If you're understanding what I'm doing, put 111 in the chat box, please. You understand what I'm doing? This is from a daily retracement phase. Now we are changing down to to the push phase, and then we want to confirm whether the push phase is ready. The best place to confirm whether the push phase is ready is to go to H1, which is our own corresponding time frame. So when I'm looking at this, I'm seeing a lot of entry opportunities. You see, first of all, for those that trade imbalance, yeah, they would have gotten an entry around here, but I'm not talking about imbalance today. I'm just making reference to it. So they would have gotten an entry around here, but I don't really trade imbalance. Like I told you before, I trade from zones to zones. Sometimes I might use it, but it's not what I use very often. Okay, so I don't use this imbalance very often, but imbalance serve as extra confluence for the reason why my zone is much valid. Okay, so I like imbalance around my zone area so that I will know that price will definitely come back there. So I saw this. Most persons are expecting price to come to this area, okay, for entry around here. But then for me, I follow basically time frame delivery. Okay, so what price did for us is that price kept creating. This is another high. Okay, you need to be able to mark these things on your time frame. This is another low. Okay, and that low got broken. Now let me say this was a push phase on this time frame, and then I would have been looking at this place for entry, this place or this place. Now most of the people, you don't really you need to really master these things. Okay, so I'm not going to be talking about entries yet. I will still teach us about entry maybe another time, but I want you to understand the way microstructure delivers. All right, so price activated from here and it sold down. So this low was also broken. Okay, so it got broken. So I'll be looking at two zones. I'll be looking at entry around here, and I'll be looking at entry around here. Now listen, like I said before, you need to be able to find a good confirmation reasons. You need to find confirmation entries you will use to take all these assets. Now, most of the persons were asking me, how am I taking the lower time frame entry? I would have showed you here, but I will still show you. Don't worry, I will show you. I will just make a little touch on it. All right, so this was a good entry, and I have this. So the next place for me to look at is this. So don't let me keep drawing rectangle. So I'm looking at this place. Okay, and price also came there. Now most of the persons will ask me, okay, why there? Now I saw a little imbalance above here. Okay, that's why I use that place. So I saw a little imbalance around this place. I saw imbalance, obvious imbalance. You can see it. Price reacted to it. Around this place here, there was no imbalance above this one, but there's imbalance around here. So that's why I use this zone. This should be clear. All right, so this is already clear. Now let's continue and let's see our price delivery. You just need to follow it, no stress. So this low got broken, fine. We were expecting price here, and price did not give us that. Yeah, and because price did not come here does not mean price will not come here later, because there's still imbalance around here. But first of all, we need to witness a break of structure. We need a valid break of structure before we consider that area. All right, so the next place was here. This was a high. Okay, because we were expecting price here and price did not give us that entry, and then it broke down again. Okay, so that's price delivery on micro. Okay, so now the place I'm looking at to enter my trade is either here. Now the reason why that is the place is because there is a short imbalance here. If you go down, you understand what I'm saying. There's a short imbalance around here, although now I don't want to really stress us. This is where things becomes complex. Now I will show us few things. Okay, let me just show us quickly. Okay, now hey, all right, so let's follow price delivery. So there's a tendency that price will react from here, that you have, but then we have had a lot of structural move. This is another high. This is on the same time frame. We have this low. You see, just keep marking your stuff, and then we were looking at price coming here. Don't stress yourself. You don't need to know plenty. You don't need plenty things. Okay, so your TP, you already know it. So I need price to come to this zone, and then I'll start selling, and price came there, I sold. So suddenly I expect, okay, price broke down. Now I wanted you to be able to read how price movement is the same way I drew it in the sketch. Okay, so that low got broken. Let me remove this small. Okay, so that we can have a good. All right, so this is the next eye here. Okay, that was the next eye. Now most of us, even me, I was expecting that price will come here and react, and that's why we need to find a way to confirm our trade entries. Of course, we will not win every single trade, but we need to be able to confirm our trade entries. Okay, so now this place was where we were expecting price. Let me delete this rectangle so that you can be able to see something. Okay, I was expecting price to come here and then start reversing, but price did not do that. Instead, price broke to the upside. Okay, as price broke above, what does this mean? Please, or you type in the group, what does this mean? Price has broke above here. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean, please? All right, I'm waiting. What does it mean? Okay, George, what does it mean? What does it mean? Okay, reversal. Okay, there are a lot of names you can give to this. Okay, thanks for those that are active on the call. All right, so this had quickly changed our bias. As soon as this happened, my bias had already changed. Now, the next thing I was going to look at is to go back to daily and confirm, okay, what is happening here. So I will quickly go back to daily. Let me put this somewhere here. Okay, so let me just put a rectangle around here. So you go back to daily and confirm what is happening. I don't want to really be going forth back and forth. Okay, so let me just wait first until I decide to go back to daily. It's the same thing over and over. As soon as this shows us a sign of reversal, we have our entries around here. Okay, we have something around here or here. Now remember I said any zone below 50% is a good zone. Yeah, but the only thing is that when before this eye got broken, that's when this zone has been created. And as soon as this zone was created, I saw a little imbalance below here. So I will not be using this zone, although price reacted from it, but I will not be considering it because of the imbalance below around here. Don't worry, we'll still talk about concept of imbalance. This year holds a little like holds plenty things for us. We are going to understand this thing gradually. Okay, so I expect a reversal down into this place and a shoot up. So and price did that, and that was what we have. And suddenly again, price now broke again to the downside around here. I think I took this trade here. I took this trade around here. So price broke down, and then my zone, my next zone is where I believe this is very simple, and all of us we are grappling it. So this is the next zone. So price came there, and then we have our move to the downside. So I took all these moves, and then okay, and then I continue marking my stuff. So that's just how to continue about structure and all that. Like till we get down, that was how I marked and I got all this structure. I don't want to keep picking one after the other. I believe this is clear enough. But then for those that might, say that VIX asset is a little bit different from that. So let me just do a little bit of maybe VIX 10 or VIX 10X so that we can be able to compare the two of them. Okay, bear in mind that we first look at our macro structure level, we check the face, and then we know what we are about to do or what we are battling with. Okay, I don't think I want to use this VIX 10, but let's just use it so that we can be able to understand the market movement. Wow, why is network like this? Sorry, I think I don't know, network has become slow. Okay, so let me refresh it. Okay, let me just use VIX 10, so because I think is what most of us use. Okay, all right, so now on VIX 10, let me begin by analyzing from here. Okay, because most persons, let me analyze from here. All right, so we have this high, we have this low. Okay, that was what we have as at this time. So this is where I want to start my analysis from. So that I'm using existing data so that you can be able to understand what I'm talking about, at least to a certain level. Okay, so that we won't have reasons to start looking out for something different. Okay, so now this is where I will be looking at. Let me put a rectangle there. Now, as soon as you start seeing this kind of thing, okay, that's the high and the low. So the next thing I say you should do is confirm your zones, and your zones must be first above 50% or below 50%, depending on what you are trying to do. Okay, so this zone here is above 50%, but like I said before, I'm not going to use that zone because there is imbalance above. So that concept is for another day. Okay, so some persons will ask me why this one, why didn't I use it, why no, there are reasons why we don't use every zones in the market. So let's go down, but remember that this was the last low that was created here. Okay, structure broke to the downside on daily. That's why we have this high and this low. So let's see how we have taken advantage of that retracement and the push phase that comes after. Okay, let's go to H1. Okay, I hope we have that data on H1. All right, so this is the data on H1. Wow, amazing. Okay, so let's quickly check the data on H1. I just wanted us to be able to get mastery on this kind of stuff. Okay, all right, so this is H1. Now the first break of structure had happened here, but price failed us. It didn't come back. But then as soon as I saw another break of structure around here, I will not be looking at that place anymore. So I saw this break of structure here, so I will not be really focused on this place. That's for me anyway, because I know most persons will still be looking here for entries. But on this same time frame, I've seen break of structure for a buy. I saw another break of structure for a sell. It gives me a kind of mixed feelings. I don't really want to tamper with that. Okay, so but if you are waiting for price to come here, you would have taken advantage of some entry opportunities, which is here. There's one break of structure here. The low was broken. This is a zone to enter for a sell. So you would have been selling around here. So you would have taken advantage. Your TP would have been here. You go down. All right. So where did we have a re-break of structure that I'm looking at? Okay. Where do we have my own break of structure? The break of structure I would have loved to take. Okay. So I have this break of structure around here. Now, please follow me closely, because price does not deliver exactly the way you want it to deliver. And remember, this is synthetic. They work based on algorithm and all that. So there was no news cannot affect it. Real life stuff does not really affect it, except algorithm programs and all that. So that's what we are looking at. Now, most of the time when I get to areas like this and then I cannot find an imbalance, but structure has been broken. I can't find an imbalance, but structure has been broken. The next thing to do is, first of all, I will now mark my zones. When I mark my zones, so I'm looking at this extreme zone, this one here. Of course, price would have stopped me out if I entered aggressively, but I wouldn't enter aggressively here. That's one thing you need to learn very quickly. You will not enter aggressively here because I did not see a backup. There's no imbalance around here. What am I looking for? Or here, this is where I would have entered aggressively, this place. But then price never came there. So I'll mark this place and mark this place. So I'm waiting for confirmation and a retest on this asset. So I got this confirmation here. Now, okay, let me see whether price came there before I will now. Okay, I'm coming. All right, price never did. Okay, so I'm waiting for a break and retest, and then price did that. Now, most of the time, price delivery, on VIX assets, you need to be very careful. Sometimes it plays imbalance, sometimes it plays its own, sometimes it tends to first clear liquidity before it moves. Now, let me show you something, because most of the persons would not see this. Okay, So because of those that will not see this, let me show you. Okay, this is not, I thought it's liquidity. Yeah, it's liquidity. There is somehow an equal low around here. I don't want to really mark it, but it's here. So, but that is still the zone I will still use anyway. So you need to just mark your microstructure. So let me continue. Let me not stress us much. Okay. So price broke structure. I expect a retest and I got my retest. Okay. So today is not for all these, what do they call it? Okay. Not for trying to tell us. And for those of us, okay, let's say, for instance, I wanted to enter aggressively here. Yeah, my limit got activated here and then it bought. So I would have closed partial around here and then it started selling. You see that price came back and stopped me out. Now the next thing to do is you go on lower time frame around this zone, and which if we were on 5 minutes here, you would have seen this break of structure here. Okay. Yeah, this break of structure here, you'd have seen it clearly on M5. So forget that this one didn't close above, but you'd have seen this break of structure and a retest. Don't worry, when you go to M5, you see it, and it retested, and then you would have been buying since then. So just follow. I wanted us to see all these things carefully, okay? I want to continue marking all these structures so that you can be able to see them and know how to take advantage of them. All right, so this one broke. So this eye also got broken, and then we are waiting for a retracement. Most of the persons are waiting for a retracement around or to this place, okay? But price didn't deliver there. So next thing is price broke above. Now, as soon as price broke structure, you should be anticipating a continuation. See, let me say this to you now clearly so that you will not be wondering why. Anytime my price is below 50%, I'm always very at alert. If that with confirmation entry or anything, I will just find a way to be at alert so that I can take my trade. This is below 50%, so I'm already at alert. And suddenly on H1, I saw a break of structure again for a buy. So my next target is around here. So I'm targeting this place. Very simple. You saw continuation for a buy. This still broke this high, and then the next place to target is here. And that's how price kept going. You know, you can keep running this over and over. Sometimes you are activated, sometimes you are not, but the same process is applicable to them. Price broke structure to the downside here, and since then you can keep marking your structures. It always gives you the same thing. So it broke this low again. We're expecting price to come back here. Price didn't do that. Okay, so price didn't give us this entry. You don't need to push price, my friend. Okay, it gave us. If you have used the full candle, yes, you would have been in this trade. So let me zoom in so that you can see it. So if you use the full bullish candle, you would have been in the trade. Okay, so it activates us. The same thing, price broke again to the downside. Okay, and price just kept on going like that. So you would have entered around here. Okay, entered here. So you are just in the trade. So it continues and continues like that. So price still broke this low, and like that. So this is how to follow price on macro and micro. So whenever you know where your range are, this one is even very plain. As soon as price are done above 50 on daily, I was already looking at this place. So I'm following the structure bumper to bumper. Like seriously, we are together with this structure. So I was already following it. No matter what is delivering, I'm just there. I'm just waiting. Okay, do this, do that. So this is how to follow microstructure. And then I have seen people mark structures anyway. I have seen it mark them differently. They've marked them differently, but this one is already a very simple way for me. I don't mean now. Listen, this doesn't mean I will not lose any trade. Yeah, forget it. I make losses also in the market, but the fact is, at this point, my losses, my profits, sorry, are more than the losses. I don't think if I take 5 trades in a day, I am so disciplined now that you know there is a specific amount of trade that we stop loss that I'm done for the day. In fact, most of my mentees know that, okay, is either I go and sleep because there's no way I'll be awake and I will not be tempted to take another trade. So most times, is either I'm sleeping or I find something to keep myself busy, get distracted. So, but if I follow this structure like this, for me, I've always, gotten the um, maximum, at least I always get about 60% win, like obviously 60 to 70% win. I don't trade more than this. So this is how to take advantage of macro stock. If I keep explaining down, you might get confused. But over time, when you start studying, you will understand what is going on. Some persons will say there's white curve around there. For me, I've not really learned all those things deeply, but I use this structure macro, micro in relation to themselves, and it works very fine. And I've been really, making sense out of it. Okay, so if you understand to this point, type 111 in the chat box, please. 111 in the chat box. So it's the same thing over and over. The only thing is
There is no audio, please.
oh wow, network shut me out. Can you now hear me now? For how long? Sorry, I think it's the network. All right. So now around here now, price wicked us out and still continued. Now most of the persons would, okay, sometimes they will feel like, okay, price, price. No. For me, as soon as I see this week out and price didn't close above, I know that, okay, they came to clear liquidity, fine, no problem. So let's go to lower time frame and see what is happening around here. When I see a good delivery that confirms a sell continuation around this place, forget it, me, I'm inside. I don't. Everybody's afraid that, okay, I'm stopped out the first time. As soon as I see a form of confirmation that aligns with a sell call, I'm already inside it. Okay, so there's no stress, no stress. All these things are major noise, guys. So when you check your macro structure, you know what price is doing, then you can come down to a lower time frame and then start marking your structure one after another. Okay, so there are tendencies that price sometimes might clear you. First of all, because there are imbalances below or above your zones. Because price, like I said before, the target of price is to go and fuel inefficiency, that's imbalances, and then clear liquidity. That's all that price knows. Price will either come and clear you as liquidity, or price comes and fuel the imbalances that were left in the price actions delivery. So you need to always find areas where either there is an imbalance or areas where there are liquidities. Now, someone chatted me up and said, okay, someone told me that I should talk about target liquidity how to target liquidity based on price delivery. Yeah, I will teach that too, but I don't think it's tonight because of my battery, and most of us know that there's no light. So I will just I will just base my teachings on this. And if you want to help yourself, please let me. Is there any question before I continue, please? Is there any question? Any question at all? Please ask your question. I will stop the class here. If you don't understand, then I will continue tomorrow. But for now, today, let me stop here. So if there's any question, please let's ask. There's no question, so it's well understood. Now, I think there's
Good
something
evening.
Good evening.
Yes, I want to know, does it work boom and crash to this to just explain now?
Yes, exactly. This exact way it works.
Okay.
I trade
All
only
right.
boom and
Thank you.
crash. I trade majorly boom and crash, and this is how I trade it.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Welcome. So anything that has candlesticks like this, even on currencies, you will see it. It's always there. Even on commodities, on stocks, is always there. The only thing is price delivery on each asset differs a bit. Meanwhile, let me say this: when you take your time to study, let me stop recording, please, since there's no question.